What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, the long awaited, very much promised Atlanta Falcons offseason and draft. So, you guys love the Falcons, you guys love mock drafts. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the community because we are trying to get to 4K by draft day, which hint, hint, it's looking pretty good. So let's get that going there. Maybe we can get to 5K by draft day. That's a big stretch, though. Let's continue. Let's have some fun here. Let's start off. Of course, it's not going to allow me to use my keys, but let's talk about some key offseason departures for this team. Cordarrelle Patterson's up for a contract. I think that he's proven enough to where a team that might be looking for maybe one more piece. I can see a team that's losing Raheem Mostert, like the 49ers, really using Cordarrelle Patterson. Might want to go to a team that is trying to contend and might want to spend a little bit more dough on a position that for 1 year, like running back. So Cordarrelle Patterson did a phenomenal job this year. If you guys want to look at this, signed means whether I think they'll be re-signed / should we re-sign it. Don't care too much about the duration amount. It's just for fun. It's just testing the waters out to see how everything is. But regardless, again, don't look at the duration amount if you guys just don't want to have some fun with some ideas. Hayden Hurst also up for a contract. I think he's a phenomenal backup tight end. However, I don't know if you really want to spend money on the tight end position. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is absolutely phenomenal, but Hayden Hurst now might be more of a time than ever to get him. And I think 4 million is pretty fair. A lot of tight ends are going to be getting around 15 million to 12 million. And I think that Hayden Hurst is probably a third of those type of tight ends. So that's where I'm at right there. Isaiah Oliver, solid slot corner. Remember when he got drafted? I think it was out of Buffalo. Not Buffalo, but you guys know what I'm saying. Oh, Colorado, UC Boulder. They are the Buffaloes. But, he's a very solid slot corner in my eyes. Young. I think he might want to go for one more prove-it deal when you have as high of a pick as this. Because, again, you don't really want to go out on bottom. I think that he can come back for a $5 million deal. Probably more. You never know. And be able to be a big impact on the roster, especially with what you guys have seen on the title slide. Regardless, Fabian Moreau's also up. Another guy who he's going to be, I think he's like 32.8 years old, something like that. Don't think that he gets re-signed. We have a good enough corner depth on the squad. Again, I just think you need a corner too. Josh Rosen, again, a really good backup quarterback. I would not be mad at all if you guys brought him back. Again, he's a former top 10 pick. There's something in there that made him great in college. He might just need some more time to figure it out, and that's okay. Last but most important, Foye Sade Aluakon. I'm very happy that I can say his name pretty well. I think that he's a very solid-ass linebacker. Remember when Michael Cocker, oh my God, you guys will see. I said Michael Cocker twice now. Michael Walker and Deion Jones were just absolutely the top linebacker squad for a hot minute. And he's a very good linebacker overall. I think that means that a team that's trying to chase a ring or looking for that final piece on their defense at linebacker is going to be the team that gets him. And there's some really good options in this linebacker class. Hint, hint. Just I'm really excited for the draft for you guys. Then we got some potential trade / cut targets. Don't take this too seriously. It's just me putting some ideas in here, adding some more content. Calvin Ridley, we've heard pretty much he's almost a guaranteed trade. I think he'll go for a second round pick. And I personally think that's a little bit of an over trade unless you have a number one receiver there, which then it's a perfect deal because I think he can be like Juju Smith-Schuster, a number one producer at a number two position. That's just me, though. Jake Matthews as well, $14.5 million that you can save by cutting him. It's almost like you kind of have to do that. Again, you don't have to, but just an idea for you guys. And let's talk about some off-season targets. You guys saw on the thumbnail, Michael Gallup. And I think that this is a perfect spot for him to go and add to the squad. Again, I'm not going to be factoring this into the draft because, just saying that we're going to go after a certain player doesn't exactly mean we're going to be able to get him. But I think that paying $12 million a year for 3 years on a guy who just tore his ACL might be the best thing that you guys have done. You do definitely need somebody to impact you in that receiving room. You have 3 wide receivers right now, including the wide receiver I just said we're going to trade. It's pretty big. That's why I put another wide receiver here in James Washington. Guy who's a pretty good deep threat. He's good for the jump ball. So I think that's definitely someone you can bail yourself out with and somebody who's going to be a good contributor. $5 million a year might be a little bit too much even for him. Ian Thomas, if you want to bring somebody who is familiar with the division and somebody who is also going to be cheap if you don't get Hayden Hurst, would be a pretty damn solid option. I like Ian Thomas, so I'd do that. Jabril Peppers, your safety room isn't exactly the most developed. Jabril Peppers is going to be coming off honestly, he's not that bad at all. So getting him for this squad for $7 million a year might be a steal. And again, adding more DBs is never a bad thing. Raheem Mostert, talked about him earlier. I think that obviously similar formula with a speed back would be pretty good in open space. That might work again. So being able to pay him an upcharge would be nice. Rashawn Evans, another linebacker that you can do to replace Foyesade Aluakon's vacancy. Another guy you could put in there. Trey Turner, obviously, he's been bouncing around, but I think that he would be a very solid guard. Obviously, guard is not the most solidified position on this roster. And I actually really like this fit. Derek Barnett. If you don't want to go edge in the first round, I think that'd be a very good option to have him on your roster. And he kind of seems to fit with what the Falcons are going after. But of course, you guys are the super fans. So please feel free to teach me because, again, I'm always willing to learn because I don't like making stupid picks. So the more that you guys teach me, because, again, you guys follow this team all the time. I follow 32. The more I learn, the more I make better content for you guys. So it's a win-win relationship right there. But without further ado, let's kick into the mock draft. Thank you guys for watching. See you then. Welcome in, everybody. You guys know what time it is. It is a mock draft time. You guys have already been watching this video for a while now. So it's weird to record these because I'm not doing a normal standard opening little interview to this thing. So let's just kick it off. Let's have some fun. So of course, if you guys do like these mock drafts, I make them all the time. And I'm sure that after free agency, we're going to be doing this again. So just got to be cranking these ones out. Regardless, at number 8, the Falcons, let's start drafting. Let's have some fun. Of course, if you guys are new to the series, we don't do trades just because it's auto-generated. It's not very fun to make things very complicated. And some of the trades are just really stupid. So to save us from that, I think at number 8, this would be a good spot to look at a corner too. It's a good spot to look at an edge rusher. Like Karlaftis. Also a good spot to start looking at wide receiver. I just don't think any of these wide receivers really offer that wide receiver one upside that this team needs right now. Garrett Wilson could be that, but I think he needs a true number 2 guy to be there. Not disrespecting Kyle Pitts. Love him to death. Mwah, love that guy. Perfect player. But I don't think that Garrett Wilson would be the option that this team should go for. Jameson Williams, don't think so either. And Treylon, it's going to be tough to make him produce like a number 1 because there's not enough guys there yet. So I don't think that he is going to be in his own right the guy that this team needs. So I would be definitely looking into this corner 2 territory because, again, you got some stud corners here. You could go probably next round Kyer Elam, which is probably the route that I honestly might lean, just praying that he will be there. That's just me, though. Again, I think the biggest impact for this team would be a corner 2 because, again, you have somebody of the caliber of Derek Stingley, of Sauce Gardner, who's going to be pairing up with arguably one of the best young corners in the NFL, and AJ Terrell. That could be a lot more impactful than one edge rusher, a potentially really good corner. But again, it's really tough because these are 2 big positions of need, but you guys are very lucky because this is a draft that is very beneficial to teams that need both of these. So again, if we pass on Karlaftis here, because I don't think Ojabo's the right guy, Trevon Walker could be interesting. Karlaftis paired up with Marlon Davidson as well as Grady Jarrett would be really nice. I mean, if you go for Arnold Ebiketie next round, Kingsley Nagbari, Myjai Sanders, Drake Jackson, I mean, damn, I'm convincing myself to go back. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's now down to Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner. I think Derek Stingley has the higher upside. I think everybody agrees. Sauce Gardner has just been absolutely dominant. I think he was my number 2 corner starting out the year as well. Just a huge fan of him. He's a very, very, very talented corner. It's going to be tough to say that you go Derek Stingley over Sauce. And again, since I have the luxury of not selecting for any other teams, you guys get to choose whichever corner you want. For me, I'm taking the higher end guy in Derek Stingley. Does he have injury issues? 100%. But if he did not have those, he'd be arguably the number 1 pick. So, it's when you get a guy who could be the number 1 pick at number 8 overall, that's a good sign, especially when he's going to be a number 1 overall player that's not a quarterback. So you're not even factoring in positional value there. The guy's just incredible when he's healthy. Again, you can't declare that you can't guarantee that he's going to be on the field all the time. And if you guys like Sauce Gardner, then go for it. honestly, that's the glory of us only selecting for one team is that, well, I mean, the glory is that we get to select some very, very good prospects, but we also get to just wait and be able to see how everything unfolds in a way that you guys get to also choose who you'd want instead. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, Kenny Pickett falling to the second. It makes some interesting twists and turns in here. And honestly, we could have gotten Kyrie Elam here. That would have been great. But there still is some phenomenal players here. There are probably some phenomenal wide receivers on the board, and George Pickens, being one of them, is a guy that I would like to target. However, since I kind of know that George Pickens is probably going to be there at my next pick, I don't think 4 wide receivers are going to go here. I'm going to be opting to go with more of an edge route. That being said, linebacker is something that we could address as well. Foye Sade at Luakon, we already had this earlier in the video. He's not going to be there anymore. You got Michael Cocker. Oh my God, Michael Walker there, who I love, and then obviously Deion Jones. But I don't think Foye Sade at Luakon is going to want to go there. I think he's going to want to go to a team that is going to be competing like really quickly. And this team could definitely compete in their own division, but it's hard to say versus like if Aaron Rodgers stays in the NFC, Russell Wilson, etc., that this team's going to be able to do it. You guys have like a 2-year project and you have the right amount of picks to do it. Christian Harris might be the guy I go after though. Because again, when we want to look at it, and I kept this here for a specific reason, I wanted to be able to reference back at it. You got like, these are your inside linebackers here. You got Deion Jones, right? You got Michael Walker. The rest, I am not confident in them doing anything. I'm just going to be straight up honest. So Christian Harris and Brian Asamoah, I think Asamoah is really, really good. Really good. And he flashes some pass rushing upside as well. Like he is a stud. Again, when we look at the edge players, we got this next pick coming up as well. And then let's look at the next one. Look how deep the edge class is. If you get Sam Williams as your edge, he is worth a early 2nd round pick in my book. Early too. And the guy's phenomenal. So I think that is worth taking a shot on, seeing him fall to 74. Call me crazy because I am, but I'm going to go after my guy who's actually graded above Devin Lloyd, Brian Asamoah. So we'll hopefully not see a bunch of wide receivers come off the board. That's my prayer, is that we don't see a bunch of them. We're not going to go after quarterback because I don't think that's what this franchise is looking at. I don't think that is what they're trying to target right now. And Christian Watson going in the second, I'm just going to be honest. He's not worth it at all. Just in my eyes, I don't think he's worth a 2nd round pick. But at this spot, I mean, Myjai Sanders would have been nice, but we need to get a solidified number 1 wide receiver. George Pickens is on the board. We are 100% taking him. Again, this is a guy who I have going at the end of the 1st. So I think that him going to this team would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And these trade offers are being extremely annoying. I know. Trust me. I get annoyed just as much as you guys do. And again, we're not going to deal like this idea that Sam Howell is going to fall to the 3rd is just complete baloney. As much as he's even fallen on my board, I still don't think it's going to be like that. Tackle is something you probably should address, but just not this draft. Again, if you're not getting one of those top 3 guys, which let's check back, but yeah, the top 3 weren't even on the board. Don't even think about it. So honestly, it's Boye Mafe or Sam Williams here. I would honestly take the more raw prospect in Boye, but Sam Williams is so good. Like Boye Mafe he's just on another level in terms of athleticism. And again, you can't go wrong here. Choose whichever one that you guys like more. I'm going to go with Boye just because, again, he also has that hype from the Senior Bowl. But again, you're getting the best of both worlds right there. So right now, honestly, this is probably one of my dream drafts. I'm loving the guys who we've gotten to this team. I'm going to be looking for a running back as well because I think that that's another position that we should definitely address. I love seeing Kirby Joseph going in the 3rd. Guy's great. I love him. But when you see guys like even James Cook would be a very good option for this team. He's not going to be there as our next pick, but that could be your Alvin Kamara type of running back. But I'm looking at guys down the line. Jaysean Corbin's a good one, but the guys like Ty Chandler actually are ones that I really like. And James Cook is still on the board. Oh, you bitch. New York Giants, they really had to do that. That really is annoying because I wanted to go James Cook. I was like, okay, well, shoot, we actually might get him. We might actually go Jalen Tolbert here, though. Very fast. He's around 100. Yeah, he's 190 pounds. And I think he measured out 6'2". So obviously a little bit shorter than what people were expecting. But Jalen Tolbert might be the right guy for this team. And I love Jalen Tolbert. The fact he's ranked at 101 means that in other divisions, because I don't like repeating guys in the same division, he's going to be going quite a bit. So again, when you look at our wide receiver depth chart, I already have our number one wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, going to be probably traded. And I think a lot of the NFL does too. So you have Frank Darby and then Austin Trent. Like, we need help. God needs to help us. And he has by giving us Jalen Tolbert as well as George Pickens, two guys who I think would actually be instant impacts for the squad. I don't even care which running back's on the board. You can pick up any running back and then they'll probably produce. That is a big, big win for us. That's a huge win. I didn't even know he was actually that far down on the board. I would still look at tackles like Max Mitchell here. And Kellen Dyche. I think that's an amazing, amazing deeper round option. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, Kellen Dyche, he performed pretty well, I think, at the East-West Shrine Bowl. So that's a good sign. I just think that when you have $14.5 million for your tackle and he's not that young, it's probably a good idea to think that you might want to go elsewhere. Again, Max Mitchell is a guy who I like quite a bit. But Kellen Dyche is the actual left tackle. Max Mitchell's a right. So I'd be very, very convinced to go that way. Again, let's look at other positions, see if we're missing out on anybody crazy. I'm not seeing it. Honestly, I'm not seeing anybody where it's like, holy shit, they're still on the board. So for me, I am going to be going Kellen Dyche out of Arizona State. Again, Max Mitchell is the best tackle on the board, but we're not going for a right tackle right now. I want to get someone who could be a solidified left because I think Jake Matthews might be cut. That contract is enormous. 14, I mean, for a tackle, it's not. But when you need to free up some cap, going and taking out $14.5 million on an old tackle, not a bad idea. Regardless if you do it or not, it's good to have a succession plan. And I think Dyche is a perfect guy in that early round 5 or late round 4 territory to take a shot on and see if he can develop into somebody. Plus, he'll probably have positional versatility. You can kick him into guard. So at this spot, again, we've already missed out on the rest of the tackles. I would still be looking for another wide receiver, but I think going after a running back would be a very good idea here. And I'm going to go after someone who I've never targeted. Abram Smith out of Baylor. No one's like choosing this guy. He's an absolute mauler. We're going to be, of course, bringing him into our running back room with, I believe, was it Mike's? Oh my God. I just bugged out on the running back's name, Mike Davis. So we're going to be bringing him in Mike Davis. That's going to be an amazing mentor for him. I love Mike Davis. So I think even going another running back with Ty Chandler wouldn't be a bad idea. But I had to show some love for Abram Smith, man, because that guy deserves it. And I think a lot of people who watch Baylor football realize that guy's a freaking monster. At this spot, I think you just want to go with best player available. I'm not going to go with Jermaine Waller because I think I would rather use him for another team anyways, just because, again, at this point, this is too stupid of a steal. But when you look at all the other players, I think Tariq Castro-Fields has shown a lot. And, I mean, actually, I want to look at the cornerback depth on this team. So right now, we have enough corners. We don't need to get any more corner depth. So I'm going to be getting off that train. Tight end wise, I'm going to actually go after Grant Calcaterra. I said that we should re-sign Hayden Hurst or go after Ian Thomas. I still think Grant Calcaterra could be a very good big receiver. He's not very good at blocking, but he is a phenomenal tight end in my eyes. And that's with me seeing him in person. I think that, like, with the amount of use that he had in the SMU offense, it kind of showed how valuable he was as a tight end. I would not be surprised to see him go as high as the 3rd round. I really wouldn't. Probably late 3rd, but I would not be that surprised. Another guy who I might target here, actually it just went, but it's Isaiah Palomao. Jeez, it's tough to say some of these names, man. But I think that'd be a good target. Brock Purdy, another guy I have him actually kind of comp similar to Matt Ryan with some more athleticism. Yeah, I think that would be a good guy to succeed. But of course, I think going after Josh Rosen wouldn't be a bad idea either. So that's going to be the draft, guys. Let's look at who we selected. We got potentially one of the best corner duos in the NFL if Derek Stingley can stay healthy. Brian Asamoah filling in for Foye Sadi-Aluakon like a freaking G. We got an amazing receiving core now with Pitts, Pickens, and Tolbert. Yeah, I love it. Boye Mafe coming in to just add that extra zing and zest to our pass rush. We got a potential starter at tackle, probably a guy who will start at running back, and then a good backup tight end here in the 7th. Let me know what you guys think and who you would have taken at each spot. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.